Okay, Jim, so we'll look at yesterday's lesson and see where we were working. Still working largely. This stick back here is going to be a big help for you to avoid lower body extension, or what I refer to as humping, because that typically raises the handle. So I think your iron game is going to get better when you can come in from a lower swing plane and a little steeper angle. Swing plane and angle being not the same thing. So we know that as you move off the ball, the wrists don't set quite as early as they should. And that forces a little movement, little swaying motion, backing up. And the second thing we know is the hands do not get very high. Now, I don't think that there's a lot we're going to do about that. I mean, if you can get them higher, it would be very much recommended. But we've worked on this before, and they're always fairly low, so that might be an uncomfortable position, and it may force you out of your posture, which would be a worse of the two. So you have an acceptable position in the backswing for a 3/4 swing, which is what that is. Now the objective is to maintain the spine angle and get through the ball. So we have this angle here, that angle there on your upper body, and it's left that a little bit, so you've straightened, your shoulders are a little flat, and you've left that angle a little bit, so your upper body's a little straighter. If you can, and this comes with being a senior golfer, it's going to be difficult to get your hands any higher and still maintain that posture. So ideally, the upper body would be a little more tilted and the hands would be a little higher. But this is still a very functional position for the level of golf that you find comfortable for your hobby. Now, as you come down, the big thing is that we are working on, and that you can change, is this. You're hitting a lot of iron shots flat-footed with your belt buckle still looking down here at the ball. So what that leads is a chase with the club down the line, flat-footed, flat-footed, flat-footed. So it's a very long time before that comes off and your body gets turned. And as I've said before, if you can turn it sooner, it's going to be much more help both in not hitting fat and hitting more powerful shots. The ability to turn through the ball, as simple as that seems, is the #1 problem for club golfers. Throwing the club at the ball and not moving the body through the ball. By the way, when you do this drill, make sure that this is barely touching, because if it bends in at all, you're going to be on it and not. So in other words, I have it a little too much on an angle here. You want to put it straight up and down in the ground behind you and keep contact with it. But that's the area, a little bit of loss of posture in the backswing, hands a little low in the backswing, and that you may be able to do something about, but the one thing that we have to do something about is use the ground a little better and get rolling here. And that's a little earlier. And so eventually the club will finish over here a little bit more, as you want it to. But you did hit some steeper, higher. The other thing we're going to get is a higher trajectory as you turn through. The higher trajectory is going to be a result of turning through the ball, because that keeps the loft on the club. Stopping and throwing the head of the club de-lofts and hook closes the face, and hits a little low draw, but it doesn't have a lot of height or carry to it. I think you'll see touring professionals hit the ball as high as they do on an average of 115 feet up in the air with their irons, because they're turning through the shot as they hit it, using the ground for power, and they are keeping the loft on the club so the club doesn't flip over. Like that. So you got the club face well over here right now, and the body's still struggling to get through where you're looking down here. The other thing that would help you a lot is rolling your head with the shot sooner, which is why if you look at a picture of David Duval's swing, or the ultimate in that would be Annika Sorenstam's swing, who would actually be looking a good 10 yards in front of the ball at impact. Where you are right now, her eyes would be out here. And Pia Nilsson said that the reason that she worked on that with her is because she couldn't turn through if her head stayed down. You have a good golf swing, Jim, and to get the swing that you want even better, it would require the ability to, with all things being as they are, with the height of your hands and the posture and the grip and everything, without any of that being different, if you used the ground and pushed off through the ball, and we didn't see too flat-footed, you'd get a lot more out of it. So these shots are, they're going to be playable and they're going to be in control, but I'm not sure that they're going to be as powerful as you want them to be. I got to get you moving through the golf ball. You could put a wedge under your back foot. You could put a ball under your back foot. You could do the step through drill, the walk down the fairway Gary Player drill. But ultimately, any training devices, the reason I'm not a big fan of them and have never been is because when you take them away, what do you have? You resort back to old habits. And so, that's been my experience, but they help not getting moved. You could put another one here, right outside of you, and try to let your hip not run into it. So not only would you be using your body more to get through it, but you'd also be staying more over it in the backswing. And that would be a big change for you. See, there's a little move to the right there. And that's taking that club a little outside, but I wouldn't worry as much on the outside as worried about taking it away on the outside as I would the getting through it part, because you do loop it a little bit. It comes back, and then you have a little of a Trevino move right there where you're dropped in. You're good there. That's fine, and there's a lot of players that believe in that, keeping the club that far outside their hands. But the key now, the big key now, is turning. At this point, we should be seeing one knee from this view, and that left hip should be headed over toward the third base dugout here. So you could still catch up with one knee too late. And you'll see touring professionals, typically by the time they're down to that lead arm, the left arm for a right-handed golfer gets parallel to the ground, you'd see them already starting to turn. He's at one knee right now. And his arm's not even anywhere near parallel. You're at one knee and you're about to hit it. So by the time he gets over there... Now, of course, I say the same thing to all my senior students, that you're not going to do it like this. I'm just pointing out any degree of what he's doing that you can feel to work on in your swing would be a huge help to your power and consistency. Okay, any questions, give me a call.